Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan, a podcast for anyone wanting to start, grow or scale a profitable creative product business with me, Catherine Erdley. The Resilient Retail Game Plan is a podcast dedicated to one thing, breaking down the concepts and tools that I've gathered from 20 years in the retail industry and showing you how you can use them in your business. This is the real nuts and bolts of running a successful product business, broken down in an easy, accessible way. This is not a podcast about learning how to make your business look good. It's the tools and techniques that will make you and your business feel good. Confidently plan, launch and manage your products, and feel in control of your sales numbers and cash flow to help you build a resilient retail business. Welcome, everybody. Hello. It is the Resilient Retail Game Plan, and I am your host, Catherine Erdley, as well as the founder of the Resilient Retail Club. The Resilient Retail Club is my membership and mastermind for product businesses. You can head over to resilientretailclub.com to find out more. And if you use the code 10podcast, that's 10podcast, then you'll be the first to know about every single new episode. Today, I want to talk to you about something which is very close to my heart, and that is the importance of building a community for you or being part of a community if you have a product business. So today's episode is 5 ways that being part of a community is a secret weapon for you and your product business. And I can't wait to share my insights with you. I have been running a community for product business owners for the last 3 years. I started the Resilient Retail Club, my membership, in 2020. And I've seen firsthand the transformative power of community. And that's what I want to share with you today. Because if you're listening to this podcast, I know lots of the members listen. So hopefully you'll be nodding along with this episode and agreeing with what I'm saying when it comes to the benefits. But if you're listening to this and you're not part of a community or not part of a community of people who really get what you're going through, then I hope this explains to you why I'm so passionate about the transformative power of a community and gives you a little bit of insight into why for the last 3 years I've worked tirelessly to create what I believe is the best community on the internet. I'm just going to go out there and say it for you if you're a product business owner. The first reason that I want to talk about in this episode is the benefit of having shared knowledge and experience. And for me, this is the absolute crux of why it's important to be part of a community as a business owner. If I look at my own life, for example, whenever I think about a major experience that I've had or a change in my life, a shift, then the benefit cannot be underestimated of being able to talk to other people going through the same thing. That could be whether I was at school, you know what it's like when you have your school friends who are the only ones who really get what you're going through, or at university. The one that really stands out for me was when I had a baby, and all of a sudden you have this deep, desperate need to connect with someone else who is willing to talk to you about the intricacies of a feeding schedule or a sleeping schedule or the challenges that you are going through. And I think it's really, really important for us as humans, psychologically. I remember one day recently, now my children are now teenagers, and I remember recently I was in a coffee shop and I was sitting there on my computer and there were 2 new mums talking to each other and they were really getting into the weeds about what time the baby went to bed and what time the baby woke up and what they fed the baby and when they fed the baby and everything else. And I remember at the time I thought to myself, wow, I remember that feeling so well. On the surface, what they're talking about seemed so minute, like the detail of it seemed like such granular detail that how could you possibly have a multi-hour conversation? And yet I remember so well the feeling of just talking to somebody else and them understanding and being willing to discuss this with me. And it was like oxygen. It felt so, so vital. And absolutely 100% for sure for me as a business owner, I 100% am so grateful. I have amazing small business friends, and I really, really appreciate it when we get to talk about stuff in detail. And that stuff changes over time, but someone who's really willing to talk to you about email marketing software, or how you outsource things, or how you balance all the different elements of everything that you have to do in your business. It's absolutely crucial. So for me, when I created the Resilient Retail Club, I wanted to have that space for product business owners. So I love to see that in the group. We see it all the time. People are sharing comments, they're sharing thoughts, they're asking for help, they're asking for input. People are asking about, what opening line do you use when you're at an event to draw people in and have a conversation? What box supplier do you use? This comes up all the time. What label printer? People having discussions about how you use Shopify shipping most efficiently. All of these things are absolutely crucial to the product business owners who are part of the Resilient Retail Club. And it's so important for them to be able to access other people who've got similar questions and to get their input. And I think that it can have a huge positive impact on your mental health as well, to feel less isolated, as well as just helping you. It's a shortcut, really. I often say, when people ask me about the Resilient Retail Club, one of the questions that comes up really often is people will ask, well, do I have enough time to join? How much time is it going to take? And I always tell them quite truthfully that often people find that being part of the club saves them time, because if you've got a question, you can head straight over to the group and you can ask it. And that may save you hours and hours of internet research and trying to get to the bottom of something, where you've got someone come in with a really great recommendation that you can rely on, and it's just saved you all that time. The second reason that I believe being part of a community is your secret weapon is all about collaboration and partnerships. And I see this all the time as well. Just recently, I get tagged on Instagram between two members who are doing a giveaway together. And we constantly see it where maybe somebody is being stocked in one of the many independent shops that are in the Resilient Retail Club, or people are working together on a giveaway or competition. We have members who put together gift guides every year, and they include other people in the club, as well as, of course, getting to collaborate with one another for giveaways, or coming up with partnerships, or coming up with products that you can create together, or being part of each other's gift boxes. I see it all the time within the Resilient Retail Club, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a really crucial part, again, of being part of a community of like-minded product business owners, is that it also can help you with opportunities as well. One of the things that I talk about all the time is that so much of sales and growth can be attributed to this idea of thinking about who else has a relationship already with your ideal customer, and then can you collaborate with them? Can you get in front of their audience? Can you have some kind of reciprocal arrangement? And I often talk about complementary and non-competitive businesses. And that's what the Resilient Retail Club is great for. You can find people who, maybe if you are a candle brand, they might be a homewares brand, or you might be a baby skincare brand and they're an organic baby clothing brand. Lots of different ways that you can find people who are already speaking to your ideal customer and collaborate with them. The third reason that I believe in the strength of communities, well, it's hard to say. If it's every time I look at them, I think this one's one of the most important, but this is absolutely crucial: emotional support and encouragement. I cannot stress enough how important it is. And it goes back to my first point about people really understanding what you're going through. Periodically in the Resilient Retail Club, we also have the ability, incidentally, to post things anonymously. So sometimes people will post anonymously. Sometimes people will post non-anonymously, but they will be talking about maybe they've had a tough launch, maybe they've had a tough situation. We certainly have members who've been going through really difficult personal situations, or maybe they're just feeling a bit lost, or like they've lost their mojo. And I'm always touched by how open and vulnerable people are inside the group, because it's really a safe space to be. What I love more than anything is that when somebody posts and talks about them having difficulties in their business, these are almost always the most engaged posts in the group. People will come and give their support. People are really generous with their time when it comes to encouraging people or coming up with suggestions. And for me, that is almost the crux of why the club exists. Of course, it exists for the educational piece, and I'm very, very proud of our workshops and events and our huge back catalogue of courses and templates that we have in the club. But for me, one of the things that really I find the most heartwarming is the encouragement and support that the members give each other. Going through the small business journey is not easy. Grappling with your mindset, often it's frustrating because I wish it wasn't like this, but grappling with your mindset as a business owner is one of the hardest things that we have to do. And it is often one of the things that has the biggest impact on our business success. If we're not motivated, if we're burnt out, if we're struggling with things on a personal level, then we almost certainly will not be able to perform and move our business forward in the way that we want to. In fact, we may not even be able to continue our business at all if our mindset really continues to get in our way of what we're doing. So having that emotional support isn't just a fluffy, nice to have, something that it's kind of an add-on bonus. Wouldn't it be great if we had it? But I really do believe that it is almost essential part of running a small business. There are so many things that can cause you to struggle, whether it's feeling like you're alone, feeling like you're really on this very, very steep learning curve and you don't know if you're even getting to the top of it, not knowing what you don't know. All of these things are really major stress factors for entrepreneurs. And that's where a community can totally cut through all of that and just show you that you're not alone. The posts inside the Resilient Retail Club where people talk about their struggles, I know from speaking to members that not only do they help enormously the people who actually post and who get the input and the support from people, but they also really help the people who are in the club who maybe aren't posting as frequently, because there are plenty of people who tell me that they come and they really consume a lot of the discussion, but they maybe don't always contribute, but they're there and they're watching and hearing about other people, what they're going through, and realizing that they're not alone is actually hugely, hugely beneficial as well. So I cannot overstate the importance of that emotional support to not feel like you're alone. And we see it at another level inside my mastermind. So the membership is my community, and my mastermind is my high-level one-to-one program, which has been absolutely fantastic. I started running this in the summer, and one of the most transformative elements of that has been our weekly calls, where we all get together as a cohort, all the cohorts that are running of the mastermind. So a group of small but very motivated group of people all working on the business. And we have a weekly call where we get to talk about specific questions that each person has. And that is like the community aspect support to another level. And that, again, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I've had from the mastermind participants has been that sense of belonging, that sense of understanding that they're not alone. And one of the hardest things for people who work on their product businesses, if they're working by themselves, if they're working in a unit, if they're working even with a team, but maybe you feel like you can't express your worries and concerns to your team because they're looking to you to lead, then being able to talk to other people going through the same things, similar challenges, is just game changer in terms of motivation and understanding that, of course, you're struggling with this because everyone struggles with this. So for me, this idea of emotional support and encouragement, it's really the crux of certainly of the membership group. And it's a real bonus of the mastermind as well, which combines working with me one-to-one with this group element. And for the group element, then again, that support and encouragement is absolutely crucial. I also think that what we explore in both particularly in the mastermind and the membership, we touch on this as best we can in a group setting, is this accountability. So emotional support and encouragement is about picking people up when they need picking up, but then also it's about helping them look forward, set goals, and then stick to those goals. And that is really crucial. That idea of setting a goal, working towards it, and being held to account to make sure that you're getting things done, that is a really valuable asset for any small business owner, because as we all know, it can be so easy to procrastinate, so easy to get sidetracked, that having that community behind you, that we have the opportunity, for example, in the Resilient Retail Club, every Monday morning, I ask people to state in the group what they're accountable for that week. And it really helps focus the mind. I've spoken to lots of members who said that they really like that because it's making them commit to it. And then they know that week that's what their focus is. So the fourth reason that I believe that a supportive community is the secret ingredient for success in your product business is expanding your horizons, expanding your network, and really just opening your eyes to new opportunities. So we talked a little bit about the benefits of collaborating and partnerships, and I think that's really important too. I also think that making connections that can just be about mutual support can be really powerful. I certainly have heard of club members who maybe live in locally to each other, meeting up outside of the club, forming relationships, building their networks out. And I think that's really crucial too. I also think as well, just seeing the different types of businesses in the club and what they're doing, what they're talking about, that can really help open your eyes as well to different possibilities, different opportunities. And I think that that's really crucial and a big part of why being a community is so important, because again, it can be really difficult to see what the next stage is until you've seen it. Whereas if you're actually in a group with people who are maybe a couple of steps ahead of where you are, that can also be really interesting, and brings me on to my final point, really, which is that being part of a supportive network helps you stay updated, and it also helps you stay inspired. For example, it's a very small example. It's been a big discussion recently about the increase in postage costs. So this is something that we're talking about, and became aware, okay, yes, the Royal Mail stamp prices are going up for first class. And it's just information that's another place to pick up information on things like that. There was a lot of discussion and support, mutual support last Christmas about the Royal Mail strikes, for example, people all brainstorming the different ways that they were going to be coping with this. And I think that can be really, really helpful in terms of staying updated. We also talked about, for example, Shopify 2.0, what that means, people being aware of being able to update their Shopify themes, people discussing the best way to do that, the best themes that they're on, all of this kind of detail that it's really hard to get unless you're part of a group where the other people in the group are very specifically tailored to your experience. And I think, as well as that being updated, I think inspiration's really key as well. And I've touched on this previously when I talked a little bit about what it's like when there are other people who are a couple of steps ahead of you. But I do think that inspiration is really important. We have lots of club members, for example, who will come and share about awards that they've won, or press that they've managed to achieve, or wholesale orders that they've gained, their experience being at trade shows, their experience at being at large events. And all of these things are giving the other members ideas, inspiration, a vision of what they can do next, as well as the opportunity to ask that person, how did you do it? What were the benefits? Was it worth it? This kind of real behind the scenes talk that it's very hard to get unless you're part of a group of people who are all doing the same thing as you. Again, as well, for me personally as a business owner, that's a big part of it too. I often find that networking is so crucial when it comes to, seeing what comes next, seeing people who are running businesses bigger than mine, what they're doing, being able to talk to them or understand what their challenges are, and just reflect on what that means for me and for my business. And I know that for the club members, there's a whole variety of people. There are people in the club who've been running their business for 10 years plus. There are some people who are first starting out. I'd say the majority of people are more established or have been going for at least 1 to 3 years. But there's lots of people who are growing, and there are lots of people who have grown. So it's a really great mix and a really great opportunity for people to get inspired about what their business could look like, as well as also just hearing what other people are talking about. And again, when I think about the mastermind in particular, which is this community, but on a much smaller, more intimate scale, then actually that weekly call we have where we're talking each week about what's going on for everybody, listening to what other people are thinking about and asking questions about in their business is really super valuable as well. There you have it. Those are my 5 reasons for your community being your secret weapon. The number 1 is you get to really benefit from shared knowledge and experience. Number 2, you get to potentially have collaborations and partnerships. Number 3, possibly the most important, you get emotional support and encouragement. 4, you get to expand your network and meet other like-minded people and potentially hear about interesting opportunities. And number 5, you get to stay updated with what's going on in the industry as well as get inspired. I'd love to hear what your stories are about being part of a community. Why not head over to @Resilient Retail Club on Instagram, tell me all about it. And of course, if you would like to be part of a community, then head over to resilientretailclub.com, check out the membership. You can use the code 10podcast, that's 10podcast, to get £10 off your first month, and we would absolutely love to have you. The mastermind is now closed for this round, but it will be running again in January. Take a look, that's on the website too. And if you want to sign up for a call to talk about taking part in January, then do so. It would be great to chat to you about how you can be part of the mastermind as well. If you have a minute to rate and review the podcast, that would be absolutely brilliant. You can rate it on the Spotify app or rate and review it inside Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like or subscribe, you'll be the first to know about every new episode each week. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then I invite you to check out resilientretailclub.com. The Resilient Retail Club is the membership for anyone wanting to start, grow or scale a profitable product business. No more trawling Google trying to find the answers to your questions or wading through general business advice that speaks mainly to service-based businesses. Whether you're still at the idea stage or you've been going for a while but want to get more focused and organised when it comes to your business, the Resilient Retail Club is the place for you. With a library of courses tailored to creative product businesses, several live sessions a month, and a supportive and active community, the Resilient Retail Club is the perfect membership to help you hit your goals faster. Check it out at resilientretailclub.com.